from every nation, from every tribe.
And welcome to Running with God. I'll be your host. My name is Janae, and I'll be here throughout the series. Hello and welcome to Running with God. Today we're going to be looking in Matthew in chapter 16, and we're going to start in verse 17. If you pay attention to the posts that I sometimes put on, you'll see one that I made referring to this, and we are going to look at that question about the different layers within these scriptures today. We are finding Jesus in Caesarea Philippi with Peter and the other disciples, and he specifically positions himself in this place, and we'll see why shortly. Let's begin in Matthew chapter 16 verse 17. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. And from that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things, and of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again on the third day. Now, I want you to look at this. It was very, very important that Jesus take the disciples and Peter to this location. This location, Caesarea Philippi, is at the base of Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon, at the base of it, is a cave, which is called to this day the Cave of Hades. Now see, Jesus wasn't just speaking about Peter being a rock, which a lot of people talk about being the foundation. No. Jesus Christ is the rock of our salvation. And we'll get into that point later. But this is specifically talking about this cave. The cave in which, in this period of time, was relevant to the facts that what we've been talking about the sons of God coming down and mating with the daughters of women. You said, how is that so? Because Pan, a half man, half goat, was over this location called Hades. They believed that this cave linked them to the underworld, and that they could call up familiar spirits and those that have gone before them to strengthen their cause, to worship other gods such as Zeus and Thoth and others. If you look into it closely, you will see what I'm talking about. Now, this, whenever he says that he will build his church upon that rock, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it, he's telling you, look, I'm taking back my power. I'm taking back my authority. Why is it important? Why is it a key factor? Because this place, Mount Hermon, is biblically and also historically written with Josephus as the place in which the fallen angels made an alliance upon the top of that hill. And at the foot of it now is what was called the gates of hell. Now, Jesus was proclaiming that he was taking back his authority. He was claiming he was going to take back everything that belonged to him, and he was going to give you and I the keys to the kingdom so that we might be his representation upon this earth, and that we might have the authority through him, not alone, but through him to do what we are told to do by the Father. Now, how is this so? Those fallen came down upon that mount, but Jesus transfigured from that very place, upon the top of Mount Hermon, the place where other gods, little g, gods, proclaimed that they were over us, that they had the power, that they had the authority. But God said, no, I am building my church here. I'm proclaiming it from this very spot. I'm taking it back. This is the beginning of the church and its authority being spoken forth so that the disciples would understand, because they understood the language of the time, and these things were not hidden from them. Now I want you to look at this. Pan being the one over this cave of Hades. You see, this says the gates of hell shall not prevail. In original translations, it did say Hades. Hades means the underworld. So Pan was over the underworld. He's the one who helped bring them forth on behalf of the enemy to corrupt us as humans. He was known as the one over the wild music, the rhythmic music that would make people come into trances, into hypnotism states, so that they would not be able to function. The one who is responsible for the Kundalini, for the fake Holy Spirit. That's the one we're talking about. He was also over the false shepherds. So this is important. Jesus is saying, I'm taking back my church in more ways than one. Now we're going to get into this in more depth. We're going to look at it about how God brings us together as a family and gives us the authority as a family in the next one. And this is going to link us, believe it or not, to Passover eventually. God bless you. Keep praying with God. I hope to see you soon.